I've got a question. What do you reckon the best naturally generated structure is? Could it be the big, scary ancient city? Perhaps maybe a bastion? Or maybe even an end city? Nah, definitely not that. Well, I don't really know, but I'll tell you what it definitely isn't, and that's this thing. Like, what even is it? It's ugly, it looks pretty pants, and the only thing it's really good for is a bit of free mossy cobble. But today, we're going to change all of that. Because we're going to be upgrading this monstrosity, and we're going to make something that's a little less pants with something that's very useful inside. So first up, where are we going to put this thing? Because it's going to be absolutely massive. And actually I want it to be over here in our ever expanding jungle base, so we're going to need to find a good spot over here. And I reckon over here would be a pretty good place because it's kind of buried deep in the trees, and at least that's a little bit like the real thing. But I'm getting way ahead of myself because for a build this big we're going to need an absolute ton of stone, and in my new storage room, which is super organised as you can see, we are not particularly blessed with stone type bricks. And if my maths is right, we're going to need about 6,500 stone type blocks for this one, which is over 100 stacks. So let's quickly make ourselves a gold hat. And to make this stone related stuff go a little bit quicker, time to find a nether fortress so we can get a beacon. And while we find our way out of this hellhole and go skelly hunting, it's time for a new segment called Guess Things That Happen to Snow in His Hardcore Minecraft World. Yes, we have a brand new over the top section where I want you, the average viewers, to guess something in the comments that's about to happen. So get those fingers ready and type in the comments how many wither skeletons you think we'll kill before we get our 3 skulls. Let's do this! Well, that's 3 skulls secured, along with some other lovely goodies like some blaze rods and some netherwort. And if you guessed 77 wither skellies to get the 3 skulls, then kudos to you. You get 77 snow points in the bag. Anyway, time to get out of this hellhole so I can stop freaking out about hitting zombie pigmen. Let's go find somewhere to kill that wither. Guess things that happen to Snow in his hardcore Minecraft world. Back in the sunny overworld, and it's time to think about that wither fight. And in the past, I've always fought the wither in a tunnel. So you know what we're going to do? Yep, we're going to go and do it in a tunnel again. But this time, we're going to take a few things with us to make it a bit more of an even fight. And when I say even fight, I mean heavily weighted in my favour. Guys, I'm counting on you. Protect me, please. 1, 2, 3, run away! Good luck, guys. I wonder how long this will actually last. Whoa! Look at him go! Absolute beast mode! Go on, guys! You got him! Go on! Hey! Well, that was easy. For me. Dude! You've worked so hard! Don't die on me! No! Ah! Oh, it's so sad. Not you as well. Sag. We'll get to using this thing soon, but first, time to clear a big space in the jungle. So as you can see, we've chopped down a lot of trees and we have a pretty big space to work with. And there's going to be a lot of space inside this thing and I want to use that wisely. So we should probably squeeze in a cheeky farm. And whilst we aren't quite ready for the dragon fight just yet, one boss today is enough, we might as well get a steady supply of gunpowder going. So we're going to build this Chapman farm, which works a treat and also means that we can get rid of all these noisy so-and-sos. And before we hide them away for a lifetime of misery, let's give them some identity with the names that you all suggested in the comments. So you can all say hello to Beans, Gatto, Snowball, his little sibling Snowflake, Pinky, Sandy, little baby Sir Meows a lot, Butters, Leo, and this little dude is Issues, but I've got my own issues because I've run out of name tags. So now we've said hello to them, let's instantly say goodbye and squeeze them into a farm for all eternity. Something bad happened. So I'm just going to gloss over that because I feel terrible, and we're going to need to make Snowball and Beans version 2 to finish this thing off. But at least the farm's finished, eh? And it's looking mighty fine. Shall we do a shaders preview of this thing? Yeah, I know, it looks gross. But now it's time to precariously AFK up here so we can see if this thing actually works. So let's dive down here with FreeCam and check out what's going on. Not much by the looks of things. Hey, there we go. It works a treat. But as good as that is, clearly we can't leave it looking like this for too long. So we need to cover it up, and step one for that task is gathering a whole bunch of blocks. And you'd think that would be straightforward, wouldn't you? And it was to begin with, as we created a new Efficiency 5 silk pick to grab the stone blocks. We then grabbed some iron and got placing down the iron blocks to make our first beacon in this world. We started digging out a big hole underground until, in truly idiotic style, this happened. So needing Silk Touch, we made a new pick and we got grinding away at the Skelly farm for levels. Went for an enchant and it was blooming Fortune, which we already had. So we made another pick, killed more Skellies, enchanted again, and again it wasn't what I wanted. So we got another pick, and this time with a level 2 enchant, and it wasn't what we wanted again. So I gave up, went in a different direction and dug a tunnel through to our breeder house, moved some annoying villagers and got rolling some trades. Eventually we got the 3 trades that we needed, and then we finally got back to digging out a bunch more stone. So now that's done, we have all the stone blocks that we're going to need for this build, as well as some other random junk. And now we have a massive hole down here and apparently the start-ins of a villager trading hall. But there is one thing that I've noticed we don't have much of, which is something that we are going to need quite a lot of for this build. So I'm going to build another farm to cure my laziness. And I'm thinking I might just be able to squeeze it inside the temple next to this thing. God, it's so ugly. Oh yeah, you're probably going to want to know what the farm is, right? Well, let me just say, you're not going to want to moss this one. I'm sorry, I don't know why I do it. And most moss farms are huge and would struggle to fit, so luckily I found this awesome video from Mr. Bazooki. But I'm a massive donor and I don't understand it really, so check their video out. But honestly, what's to understand other than the fact that this farm is amazing and it's super duper quick. Even this guy agrees and came to have a look. So I'm going to let this run for a bit and we can crack on with crafting the bits that we need to build our fancy new temple. And that is all now complete. It definitely didn't take me forever. And I also did this, which I thought would take a couple of minutes, but also took me forever. But thankfully, we now have a nice canvas to make a start. And I think the first thing that we need to do is make a big frame for how big this thing is going to be so we can cover up these farms. So let's give that a go. And that frame consists of a 43 by 43 base section, so this thing is pretty big. Then with 3 smaller rectangular bases, which kind of makes it look like a birthday cake. No? Maybe just me then. And I think it's about right. We might not have the proportions just right yet, but we're covering up the height of the creeper farm, and that's the main thing. I know, you're going to be sad when you can't see this thing anymore, right? Next, I think I want to have a stairway at the front here, so let's bang that in and see if we can sort out a wall design around this whole bottom layer. So for the walls, I added some stairs and wall blocks just to break up the flatness of it with some little arches for some shape. And once that design was locked in, we whizzed round the whole shebang. And that's the first section done, and I think you kind of get the look we're going for here. Lots of mossy stone bricks and stuff, just like the real thing, but I tried to chuck in some other colours like the trapdoors, the stairs, and the deep slate walls just to break it up a bit. Now we need to repeat this design, but like 3 times. So we added a couple of new staircases to lead up to the next section, and then repeated that wall design across not 1, not 2, but 3 layers of the birthday cake. I mean, jungle temple. And we also added in a large staircase that went up from the second layer all the way up to the top. But as you can see, it's a little bare at the moment, and all you can really do is just hear the cats underneath. So I think we need to put a little build on top, but maybe a build with a little bit of a story behind it. And the story is that something went terribly wrong. But enough of that dramatic nonsense. I thought it would be cool to add a bit of a story behind this idea. So my idea was, well, let me just use the front door. I'm not a monster. That obviously there is a creeper farm inside here, right down there in fact. and I thought maybe that this was discovered by some crazy clever science people. Well, people who thought that they were crazy clever science people, I guess. And they thought that they could build a creeper farm and experiment and make like gunpowder and TNT and stuff, but obviously it kind of went terribly wrong. So we've got a house that kind of went boom boom over here. We've got a little TNT making facility over here. This thing over here is the remnants of a little pulley system that used to collect the TNT from inside the farm. And over here we've got a little creeper statue. So now the build itself is all but done, we need to add a few zhuzhy bits like some vines and leaves and stuff to make this thing feel a little bit more overgrown. And we also need to do something with that little opening section at the front there. And that's done, and it's looking fancy as heck, with a little nod to those green things that are working their magic inside. And that leads down to where we can collect our gunpowder drops. The thing is though, this is looking a little bit lonely out here, so we need to join this thing up to our area and make it hidden away in the jungle a bit more. But before we do that, there's one thing that I need to take care of, isn't there, dude? Sorry buddy, you've been bouncing away up there since the last video. Let's finish this thing, baby! Guess what? We're done! And I wanted to make this whole thing pretty immersive, so I've packed a lot of detail into this. So as we walk through here, we've got a nice couple of little custom trees hanging about. We've got these little bamboo fire pits for that smoke movement. We've added a wither... Bro. Oh no. Well, that was unfortunate. But as I was saying, I've added a little wither rose just for a little nod back to earlier in the episode. Ouch. And there was a little pond of water here before, so I've just jazzed that up a little bit, so as we walk past, it just adds that little something something. And as you walk through here, you've got the little dock out the front, and then you've got these two massive jungle trees surrounding the temple. And as we walk up here, you've got these two little awesome creeper head statues out the front, just before we walk up into the temple. And bloomin' heck, am I happy with how this has turned out. I think this one really does deserve a shaders preview unlike that creeper farm. This one has taken me a fair chunk of time, but I think it's one of my favourite builds I've ever put together. And when you see this thing compared to the rest of the area, you'll realise how big this monster really is. But that's enough, that's it. I need to lie down in an early night after that one. See ya!